Philadelphia Spirit host the Cleveland Cardinals. We'll start off with Joe Montana, who had a great week last week, throwing it down the left side to his favorite receiver, Michael Haynes. As the cornerback tries to catch it, he is unable to. John Carney will attempt a field goal. He's usually money, but not today. Ken O'Brien throws it deep to Robert Clark as he gets it inside the 5 and will hand it off to the Hall of Famer Marcus Allen for the touchdown. Next drive for Ken O'Brien and the Cleveland Cardinals. He throws it as Marcus Allen comes back for the ball to around the 30-yard line. Ken O'Brien steps up. He's sacked by James Francis, and the field goal will be attempted by Ken Willis. It's good, 10-0 Cleveland. Philadelphia Spirit, a chance to do something with this. Johnny Johnson with the catch over the middle from Joe Montana. He had a big game catching. Joe Montana play action fake, throws it to Johnny Johnson over the middle, gets stopped inside the 5, and Barry Foster's freeze bums it in for the touchdown. Next drive for Cleveland, Ken O'Brien feels the pressure, throws it to Reggie Foghorn Langhorne to the 40-yard line, and then O'Brien surveys the field, throws it to Robert Clark, having trouble getting tackled, and then inside of Spirit territory, Derek Brown gets the catch to around the 20-yard line. More passing for the Cleveland Cardinals here. The throw to Marcus Allen, who has got a lot of duty catching the ball in the end zone. It's 17-7. Joe Montana needs the Spirit to get on the board again. Johnny Johnson on the seam route. He gets the touchdown. It is 17-14. Spirit running backs are doing well here. Marcus Allen gets more involved in the passing game as he's been doing in recent weeks. He's been the favorite receiver for Ken O'Brien as Ken O'Brien throws it to Reggie Foghorn Langhorne to the 26-yard line. Ken Willis will try a field goal, but this time he's no good. 4th and 12, down 3, less than a minute to go for the Spirit. Montana tries to go over the middle to Carrier, but it's incomplete. So Cleveland is trying to pour more on, but Ken O'Brien makes a mistake. He's intercepted in the end zone. Last chance for Philadelphia. Montana, can he do it? Throws it to Barry Foster's freeze, and Barry Foster's gets frozen before getting to the end zone. Cleveland and Philadelphia are both 8-2.
Two of the best teams meet in Birmingham, Alabama. Thurman Thomas for the Rebels returns for Birmingham as they tangle with one of the best teams in the league in the Stars. Los Angeles won the toss and received to begin the game. Phil Simms, who's out for this ball game, spelled by Stan Humphries, plays well in the first drive. The former Charger quarterback finds Henry Ellard for his 8th touchdown grab of the season, and Los Angeles makes a statement on their opening drive. Birmingham might as well be the Buffalo Bills of the 1990s. Kelly finds Reed. Thurman Thomas back into the offense too. He's part of that club. Ray Bentley sacks Jim Kelly and they settle for a long field goal. And Chris Jackie's been pretty darn good this year. He makes the long distance kick. Kelly and the offense gets the ball back later in the first quarter down by 4. The quarterback takes off, and as good as he is as a passer, he struggled a bit running the ball. That's recovered by Deion Sanders of Los Angeles. Stars play well in the first half of this ball game as Bobby Humphrey, over 1,000 yards on the ground this year, makes a big play. David Treadwell hits the field goal. He struggled this year, but LA jumps in front with his kick, 10-3. Kelly and the offense driving to tie the game. Kelly with the check down finds the backup Hilliard, and then on the following play, Kelly with great protection delivers a strike, and there is Hilliard yet again, who dances his way in for the touchdown, his second receiving score of the season. Late in the first half of the game, tied at 10, Kelly makes another big play. A diving catch here from Hilliard sets up the go-ahead field goal, and it's good from Jackie. In the second half, with Los Angeles down 13-10, there is Humphrey of Los Angeles to put him into Birmingham territory. And then down by a field goal, here's the long ball that's picked off. Harry Hamilton intercepts for Birmingham, and this is where the Rebels would take control of the game. Kelly, in the third quarter, one of the MVP favorites, finds the former injured running back Thurman Thomas, and they're up by 2 scores. But in a big moment of this game, Thurman Thomas, who had a great start to the second half, he runs for the first down, but goes down with an injury yet again. He's healthy for a matter of a few quarters. Spelled by Anthony Thomas, and also Dalton Hilliard for the remainder of this game. But Kelly wouldn't slow down to the second half, even with his star running back out. He finds Hilliard, the drive capped off by another field goal from Jackie, and Birmingham leads into the fourth quarter 23-10. Humphreys and the offense just couldn't get much going in the second half. Another interception thrown from the quarterback, his fourth coming off the bench this year, and then Kelly finds Hilliard on the deep ball. Birmingham's Jim Kelly, an MVP favorite, leads the Rebels to a win 30-17.
If the Louisville Lightning win this Monday Night Football game, they are first place in the Warthog Conference. But we'll start off with Brett Favre of the Guardians, giving it to Sammy Smith, getting it close to midfield. Once they get past it, Favre runs out of the pocket. He gets it to around the 15-yard line and then runs it with Leroy Thompson with the handoff. Guardians take an early lead. Steve Young throws it to his favorite receiver, Sean Collins, as he gets a lot of yards after the catch. And then Steve Young says, I'm going to do this myself, runs out of the pocket for around 25 yards for the touchdown. Game is tied. Lightning get the ball back, but Steve Young makes a mistake in his own territory. The ball is intercepted by Darren Perry. And this will give Favre a chance to get some points. He steals it to Sammy Smith. He bounces off defenders. It's a touchdown. 7-point ball game. Steve Young, play action, throws it down the right side to Gary Clutch City Clark, and this would lead to a Pat Leahy made field goal, 14-10. Guardians have a 4-point lead. Next drive for the Lightning, they get the ball back. Steve Young throws it again to Clutch City Gary Clark. He gets tackled inside Guardians territory, and Neil Mr. Anderson will get the handoff up the middle. He has the touchdown. Lightning have a 3-point lead. The lead switches as Favre throws it to Alexander Wright. He gets it to midfield, and this would lead to a made Nick Lowry field goal. Game is tied. Steve Young with the handoff to Neil Mr. Anderson, but he would cough the ball up. It's on the ground. Darren Perry recovers, so he's got an interception and a fumble recovery. Favre throws it down the right side, but it's intercepted by the Lightning, and that fumble was all for naught as Neil Anderson gets the handoff up the middle, gets it to the 40-yard line. Steve Young backs up, no pressure in his face, throws it to Sean Collins. Sean Collins gets it inside the 15. They're in the red zone as Neil Anderson gets the handoff, and he says, Mr. Anderson in the end zone for the touchdown. He knows Kung Fu. Leroy Thompson goes around defenders. He bobs and weaves for the Guardians' next possession. Favre inside of Lightning territory gives it to Alexander Wright, and then would throw it over the middle to Mark Bavaro. The game is tied at 24. Neil Anderson again bobs and weaves. He's got a few touchdowns in this game, and then the Lightning get all the way deep in Guardians territory, and Steve Young, he just runs it in himself. He's one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL with a rushing touchdown there. When we show a kick return, it's usually a big play or a gaff, and you said it, it's a gaff. Recovered by Kevin Smith of Silent Bob fame. Lightning take over, and Neil Anderson helps the Lightning go up by 2 possessions. Favre has a lot of rallying to do. He throws it to his Hall of Fame receiver, Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, and they get inside the red zone. Favre hands it off to Leroy Thompson. The lead is only at 7. Favre, he knows what to do. The curl route to his Hall of Fame receiver, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice gets into Lightning territory, and Favre backs up. He throws the ball deep to Alexander. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And he gets it into the end zone after falling at the 2-yard line. 4th down for the Lightning, and they go for it to Neil Anderson. And then Steve Young runs out of the pocket, has some gas behind him, and he avoids defenders. Jeff Cross will sack Steve Young, and then with less than 10 seconds left to go, Steve Young would throw an interception to Darren Perry yet again. Overtime. If you get the ball first, you usually win. Steve Young would throw it to his Hall of Fame receiver, Jerry Rice, and Favre backs up, throws it, jumping catch by Alexander. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right, and he steps into the end zone for the touchdown. Indianapolis wins 44-38. Guardians are 6-4. Lightning is 8-2. And here we have some impact players who are backups in Week 10. We start off with Sean Salisbury, who took over for Drew Bledsoe for the Washington Generals. His team was down 14-0, and he rallied back with his team to eventually beat the Milwaukee Warriors 30-27. The Milwaukee Warriors were also missing their quarterback for part of the game, and Neil O'Donnell had to start, but congratulations to Sean Salisbury as he's won 2 games this year. We also have Rich Gannon, who ended up throwing 4 or 5 touchdown passes against a formidable team of the Pittsburgh Renegades. He took over for Eric Kramer, and he did a really good job. He absolutely blew out the Pittsburgh Renegades. Dalton Hilliard, who is the backup fullback for the Birmingham Rebels, was able to get involved, coming in for Anthony Thompson. He has 2 receiving touchdowns in their win against the really good Los Angeles Stars. And then we have Tom Waddle, who was a 3rd or 4th string wide receiver who caught a deep pass as well as a very tough touchdown from his quarterback, Troy Aikman. Congratulations to these players, and hopefully they play well in the future.